Hey YouTube, I'm here to talk to you today about an improvement I recently made to my camper trailer. I installed a power tongue jack, and it is the Husky Brute model BR3000. It's a 3,000 pound power tongue jack, and I got it from Costco online, and it works really good. I'm quite happy with it. It's early days yet because I really haven't put it to much of a test because it's fall time here and we're done camping for the year. But I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm going to talk about the features of it and kind of a review and a little bit about how I went about installing mine. The basic install, they're all the same. There's 3 bolts, and it bolts right in there, and it takes you 5 minutes to do the actual install. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But I'm going to talk about this particular jack, and I think I got a good one. I looked at quite a few before I got this one. Decided on this one. The thing that I like the best is the ball screw design. So it's not really metal rubbing on metal. There's ball bearings that ride in the Acme thread that makes it go up and down, and that's a whole lot better. Like a lot of the others tell you have to take apart and grease them every year and that sort of stuff. Well, the Husky Brute, because of the ball screw, it's permanently lubricated, and there's very little friction there. You don't have to. There's nothing that you have to do to it really. They tell you to maybe silicone the shaft that goes up inside once a year, but other than that, that's all there is to it. So like most of them, it has a light on it. 3 lights actually on this one. So there they go. Kind of hard to see because of the sunlight, and there's 2 on the sides and 1 on the front. For so the ones on the sides are meant for messing with your stabilizer bars at night, and they'll also help, I'm sure, with if I've got anything to do with the propane tanks in the dark. And the one on the front is meant for hooking up with your trailer hitch. So it runs quiet. It runs really smooth. Really hard to tell on the video, but it's pretty quiet. It has the extra, and a lot of them do. It has the extra extension on the bottom. And there's that's kind of a 5-inch foot pad there. I'm not sure that's going to be big enough for soft ground. We'll have to tell. I can always put a little piece of plank on it, but I used to have great big blocks and that sort of stuff. Don't need that anymore. But I can always tack a bigger foot pad onto the existing one if that proves to be an issue. A lot of them come, or at least some of them come. The Trailer Star, for example, comes with a 7-way connector on the end of the wire that hooks, that runs the jack. And I like that because you can plug it into your truck and power your truck with it. Power it from your truck if your trailer battery isn't working all that good. I like that idea. So I put that on. And for my situation, that's a good idea. I put a 7-way connector right on the frame of my trailer, so I plug it in that way rather than hooking right to the battery. I didn't want to mess around with another wire to hook onto the battery, another wire coming out of the battery box, so that's what I did. I also ran a number 8 wire right from the power center, the fuse box of the trailer, to get my power. I had an extra 30 amp circuit there. So I ran a wire back to hook to the 7-way connector, and I like that better. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but first, so this has actually got a brake on it. If you want to use it in manual, you have to take the brake off because the ball screw turns so smoothly. It's got a brake to hold it in place. So again, I like that a lot. It also has one of the features that I like is that it's got an auto stop. The auto stop will stop it before it gets right to the very end of the stroke. It's got a limit switch on top and bottom. Some of the other ones I have heard of people running them up too high, and that can strip gears and all that sort of stuff. Not so with the Husky Brute. I like that feature a lot. I wasn't expecting to get that on this model, but it came with it. So here is where I keep the brake release tool right on top of the propane tank. So it's always handy, and I don't lose the doggone thing. It comes with a pretty good crank. Some of the others were complaining on YouTube. One, for example, was complaining because the jack handle was too short. It wouldn't clear the propane tanks. This one has a good long, as you can see, jack handle on it. Works good. Well, one of the things that it came with that I couldn't use was this. And what that's meant for is hanging your 7-way connector from your trailer onto that, and it keeps the weather off it. So it's supposed to bolt on there like that. Couldn't do it on this one because my propane tanks sit too close. This trailer has quite a short tongue. So what I'll do with this is cut these little pegs off and that little hood off, and I'll sand it and make it look nice like it come from the factory, and bolt that back on there just to keep the weather out. I've got the screws in the holes right now to keep the weather out, and that'll do me good. It's stored inside in the wintertime, so it'll be fine. I'm going to show you my fuse panel. What I did, and I want to talk about that for a minute. Here we go. So in the trailer, this is where I hooked into my fuse panel, and I ran a number 8 wire all the way down. So you got to, if you're going to do that, just keep in mind that not all of the circuits are good for 30 amps. On my particular trailer, my particular fuse panel, 2 of them are good for 30 amps. I had 1 spare 30 amp left, and the rest of them are only good for 20 amps. So keep that in mind if you're going to do that. Watch for that. And also, if you're going to put the 7-way connector on so that you can plug it into your truck to run the jack if need be, keep in mind that not all vehicles, even if they're wired from the factory, to pull a trailer. My truck, for example, it's a 2011 Chev, and that wasn't hooked up. It was wired, the wire was there, but it wasn't hooked up, and there was no fuse in there. And I struggled for a long time trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. Couldn't get power to run the jack. And then I went on the internet and found out that wire is there, but it just wasn't hooked up. So I hooked it up and put a fuse in it, and I'm good to go now. That's all I've got to say. Thanks, YouTube, and if anybody has any questions about the Husky Brute HB3000, send me a message and I'll get back to you. Bye.